Alright, so in this section we talk about getting started with WebAssign. If you haven't used WebAssign before, it might be new to you. So the first question, they ask you to choose multiple choices here. Notice if you choose the first one, which is the correct answer, after you choose the second one, it flips it to the second one, or it flips it to the third one. So you can only choose one here, and even if you choose the wrong one initially, you can go back and choose the correct one. And then you click Submit Answer, and it should give you a green check. I've already done this question once already, so that's why the green check is there. Then in this one, there's a drop-down menu, and you choose Correct Answer, right? And then when you submit, it'll give you the green check. Since I already did the question already, that's why it's got the green check there. Now this one, if you choose a certain graph, just click anywhere on the graph, and then the lower left button in blue will indicate you chose that graph. Now if I click this one, notice the blue in the lower left for this one, and for this one, lower left, this one for lower left. And you want to choose this one because it says correct graph right in front of it. And then when you submit, it'll give you a green check saying it's correct. Alright. And the next one, they ask you to type in what's 1 plus 1, and you can type in 2, you can type in 2.0, you can even type in 1 plus 1. Any one of those is a correct answer. You type in, click on the box and type in 2, and submit your answer, and you get a correct answer there. Okay, now this one's asking you to type in the square root of x. This little green G here, that's just from my software program that I have that is called Grammarly. It's like Word, and it does corrections for me. Whenever I type in anything that is on a computer, that G shows up, so ignore it for now. Alright, so if you want to type in the square root of x, you got to click on the answer box, and over here on the right hand side, you'll see that symbol right there under operations. First off, you got all these different choices here. You got operations, and you got add, subtract, multiply, divide, fraction, exponent, square root, factorial. And if you click on function, you can type in different functions for logs. You can type in functions such as logs, logarithms, 10 to a power, e to a power, any sort of thing you want with subnotation, whatever. And then if you click on symbols, it gives you pi, theta, infinity, I, undefined, does not exist, and it gives you the degree symbol. Relation, less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, equal, or no solution. And for sets, this is where you're going to get your union and intersection. Remember, do not type in a capital U for union. The union symbol is a mathematical symbol. You can only find it over here on the right hand side. And so here you've got brackets and parentheses and empty set. And then if you click on vectors, we won't be dealing with vectors. And in trigonometry, we won't be dealing with trig. You'll see that in the next class if you take Math 142. And then here's all the different Greek letters. And then if you want to click help, you can type in anything you want for help. And well, that's actually quite useful here. Let me show you that. When you click on help, it shows you all sorts of things, and it gives you a whole list of things that you can do in order to do anything you want. Okay, and so if you just type in graph align, okay, click on graph align. Okay, graphing questions, so they show you how to do different graphing questions, whether it's a parabola or a line or a sector or whatever, it doesn't matter. They're all the same. Alright, so on this one we want to type in the square root of x. So you just type that, and you got to click on operations. Okay, and now here's the square root. You type in square root, and then underneath it you just type in x. And so now we got exactly what we want, and we submit. Alright. Now on this one you got capital D plus lowercase p plus the symbol pi. Now remember, in mathematics, lowercase letters are different than capital letters. A capital D and a lowercase d are different symbols mathematically. So there's actually 52 different symbols alphabetically that you can use. So you have to hit Shift capital D plus lowercase p plus, and now you can type in pi one of two ways. You can either type in just pi and it'll change it to the pi symbol, or you can go over here and under symbols, see where you have symbols, you can choose pi. That's another way to type it. And so now you got capital D plus lowercase p plus pi. And submit your answer, and it's going to give you a green check. Alright, number 7, they ask you to plot a point. Okay, so when you want to plot a point, you click on the point icon, this guy right here. Okay, and then you find the point you want, 3, 4. So you go over 3 and up 4. And you click there. And then when you click anywhere, oops, sorry. I actually plotted the same point twice. Why did I do that? You can delete a point just by clicking on the X. And so that's the point I want. And now I just submit the answer. By the way, if you want to move it, you can always click and drag. You can click on a point and move it wherever you want. If you didn't get it in the right spot initially, you can just click and drag and put it wherever you want. Or you can even type in over here, you can type in, right here you can type in 3 and 4, and it'll put it right where you want it at 3, 4. Okay, and now you just click on submit answer, and it gives you a green check, or it says answer is correct. Alright, this one says add 2 plus 3 plus 4. So this is a tutorial, so you have to do step after step. So you start by clicking here to begin. Okay, and it'll ask you to do the first step. 2 plus 3 plus 4 equals blank plus 4. Well, we know 2 plus 3 is 5, so you just type 5 there. And then you submit. Okay, now you get that part right. Okay, and now part 2, you got to keep going because we're not done with the question. And they want us to figure out the next step is what's 5 plus 4, and you finally type in 9, and you submit. Okay, and so you completed the tutorial. So what they're doing there is they're asking you to do one step at a time. So they want you to show that you can figure out that you have to add 2 plus 3 first, and then you have to add 5 plus 4 next. And so you do one step at a time. And when you click submit answer, it tells you everything's correct. Alright, this one says ask you to type in the square root of 2. So you click there, and you find the square root of x over there, or square root, and you type in 2. Okay, and you submit your answer, and it says it's correct. Good. Now here you want to type in square root of x plus 1 plus 1. So when you type this in, you're going to hit the square root symbol. You're going to type in x add 1, lowercase x add 1. But then you have to arrow to the right to get out from underneath this square root, because your calculator doesn't know that you're done with the square root and you want to get out of it. So you have to actually arrow to the right after you type in the 1 to get out from under the square root and then add 1. Alright, so you hit square root symbol over there. You type in x add 1. Okay, and now you have to use your arrow keys on your keyboard. So arrow to the right 1. Notice I'm no longer underneath the square root anymore, and now I can add 1. Now look what happens if I go back and I'm still underneath the square root symbol. If I go add 1, notice it doesn't do what we want. Right? And so what you need to do is at this point you arrow to the right and you get out from underneath the square root, and then you add 1. Okay? And that's correct. Alright, so now they want you to type in sine of 80 degrees. So you type in, you can hit trig if you want, but you can just type in sin parentheses 80. Okay? But now you have to find the degree symbol, and that's the degree symbol is under symbols, and it's just this one here in the lower right. You click on that, and now you've got it. You type sine of 80 degrees. Okay, so sometimes you could just type in the letters alphabetically. Now they ask you to type in log of 6t times ln of 7t. Now notice they say if you type in log 3x, it's really log of 3 times x. If you type in log space 3x, it will recognize it like you want it, which is log of 3x. Now the safest method, they say, is to use parentheses. So when you go to type in log, you can do logarithms over here on functions. Functions, you got log right there. Or you can type in 6t, parentheses, and then type in ln. There's your ln key. And then type in 7t, parentheses. Okay. Now how do you draw a line? Well, there's a couple things you got to do. First, you have to click on the line icon tool right here. And you have to decide if you want a line segment, or just a segment of a line, or the in between what's a line and a segment is a ray. It starts at one point and it goes off in only one direction. But we want a line that has arrows on both ends. So you click on that one. Okay, and now you find your first point, which they say is 0, 1. So you just put a dot there. And now you want to put another dot at 1, 2. 1, 2 right there. Okay, and now all you have to do is click anywhere on the graph, and the blue will turn to a solid black line. And that means that's your answer, and you submit it. And if you make a mistake, you can always go back and you can hit clear. You can always hit clear if you want to. You can always delete a line and type it in a second time. So, alright. Now this one they want a dotted line. So, again you click on the line icon, and you click on line again. And now when you go to plot your 2 points, you plot 0, 3. And then you plot 2, 5. Alright. Now, this is going to give you a solid line if you click anywhere on the line. So you want to go over here and click on line, and then you got to click on dash, and that changes it to a dotted line. A dash is another word for a dotted line. And now when you click anywhere, you get yourself a dotted line. Okay, so you just click on line and choose dash. Now you can also click on line and type in any specific points you want. Sometimes you might want to use that if you're typing in things that are like decimals or fractions, because it's sometimes hard to type in to plot a decimal or a fraction. And what if you want to do array? Okay, well you click on line and then you click on the array, and they tell you it starts out with the point 1, 2. Okay, and it passes through 3, 4. So you find 3, 4 right there, and there you go. And now one thing you can do with that, you can change a point to a hollow circle or a solid dot if you want. But if you just click anywhere on the screen, it'll change it to a solid line, and that's your answer. Alright. This one's a line segment. So you click on line icon, and you click on segment. And now you just find 4, 6. 4, 6 right there, and you find 4, 2 just right there. Oops, what happened? Click on line segment again. So you go with 4, 6 right there, and then 4, 2 right there. And click anywhere you want, and that gives you your line segment. Okay. I don't know why I changed it to blue again, but if you don't need to change it. You've already got the answers correct. Alright, now when you graph a parabola, you have to graph the vertex first and then any other point second. But you have to graph the vertex first. So here's your parabola tool. Click on that. And you want to click on that again, so you want this one instead of a parabola going sideways. And now you got to graph the vertex, which in this case is 0, 0. Okay, so you plot 0, 0. Then you plot the second point, 2, 4. And when you do that, it automatically knows what parabola you want. But you have to graph the vertex first. And I just click anywhere, and there's your answer. Alright. Now this one, they want you to graph a inequality, linear inequality, where you're shading an entire region of the number line. So you first want to draw a line, and then you want to shade one side or the other. Right? So they want to plot the line going through 1, 1 and 2, 1. So you click on line, and you click on line again, and you find 1, 1 right there, and you find 2, 1 right there. Okay, and you click on anywhere on the line and anywhere on the graph, and that gives you that. Now how do you fill in this upper region? You click on this. This is a paint bucket. It's a little paint bucket with paint pouring out of it. It's called fill, F-I-L-L. So click on that. Right? And then you click on the side you want. Now you can toggle it to whichever side you want to shade, but I want to shade above, so that's my answer. Okay, I submit it. Alright. Now this one, they want us to type in a matrix of 0, 1, 2, 3. Right? So you type in 0, and you type in 1. Now you want a second row here. Now how do you get this matrix to get bigger? Well, you just click on the down arrow, the down green arrow, and it gives you a second row. And you can even click on it again, it gives you 3 rows. You can click on this to give you 4 more columns. You can have as many columns as you want, and you can take away as many columns as you want too. So we want 2 rows and 2 columns. So we got 0, 1, we got 2, and we got 3. Right, so that's how you make a matrix bigger or smaller. Just click on the green arrow and it'll add more rows or columns to your matrix. Alright, so that's correct. And now it says the help button found at the upper right corner of most pages in WebAssign will take you to our WebAssign student help documentation. You can also access the documentation by clicking here, this blue here word. Certain WebAssign tools such as CalcPad, MathPad, PhysicsPad, and GraphTool will also contain help links that will help you with information specific to that content. So true or false, the help documentation contains many useful pieces of information such as explanations about how to enter responses to certain questions, common troubleshooting steps, system requirements, and more. And the answer to that is true. And you click on yes, and you get the question right. Alright, so you can always find help. I believe it's the upper right corner. You can always find help. Typically it's somewhere, yeah, you can click on the help system on any question. It always has help system on every single question if you get stuck on something. You can also go to Google AI and type in WebAssign how to graph a line, and WebAssign will give you a very specific answer, and it usually gives you a YouTube video that will explain to you how to plot, how to graph a line, and all the different ways to explain it. So all you have to do is just type in WebAssign and then type in what you want to do. How to graph a line or how to graph a parabola, right? How to type absolute value. Okay? How to type absolute value. It'll even tell you how to do that, right? So to type absolute value, you can hit Shift plus and then the backslash, and that'll give you absolute value. Okay? And so if you get stuck on anything, just do that. That's probably the best way for you to figure out how to do something on your calculator.